Narcan. I'm at work right now. It's about 2 o'clock in the morning, super quiet. So I thought that I would use this time to make a little video and teach you guys how to use Narcan. I have some expired Narcan here, in orange, which I'll be using. Narcan is an opioid antagonist, so it can reverse the effects of an opioid overdose. I think it's a really good idea for everybody to know how to use Narcan, especially people living in BC, just because the number of overdoses in BC are so high. You can get Narcan at basically any shelter, supportive housing, building, or overdose prevention site on the downtown east side. You can just pop in, ask for a kit, they're free. A few addresses that you can go to are 111 Princess Avenue, 20 West Hastings, 412 Carroll Street, 309 Carroll Street, Carroll Street. So like I said, I've got my expired Narcan here and an orange. I'll be eating this after. Don't waste food. So first things first, before you even approach a person, you want to make sure that the area is clear of used needles and other sharps. You don't want to be kneeling onto broken glass or used syringe. Once you're sure that the area is safe for you, you're going to want to look for signs of an overdose. This can include little to no breathing. It can look like a bluish tinge in their lips, their fingernails, or their skin, and they will not respond to voice or pain stimulation. So usually I pinch their shoulder nerve right here. You can also give them like a sternum rub right there. That, if the person is conscious, will definitely elicit a reaction because it is super painful and annoying. You won't actually hurt them, but they will react. So if you think that they've overdosed, the first thing that you're going to want to do is call 911. You do not need to worry about getting arrested. You don't need to worry about getting harassed. The person who's overdosed will not be arrested, will not be harassed by the cops. Cops do not respond to overdose calls. You'll most likely be dealing with paramedics or fire first responders. You also want to get help from just the people that are around you. If you're on the downtown east side, call for help. Someone will come. Mostly everybody that's involved in this community down here, they know how to use Narcan. They've responded to way more overdoses than you or I ever have, ever probably will. It helps to have at least 2 people responding to an overdose, so you can have one person focusing on air, one person focusing on Narcan. If you're trying to do all of the jobs, it can get a little bit frantic, and panic in the event of an overdose is not your friend. So before you start administering care, you want to put on your gloves. This is what it'll look like. I don't know if you can really see. This is what it'll look like when you open it. You have the gloves are right in here. Honestly, I would recommend as soon as you get your Narcan kit to take out these gloves and throw them away, because they always give you gloves that are way too big. So when your gloves are too big, it makes it a lot harder to manipulate the small vials of Narcan and stuff and drawing up the syringe. So as you can see, these are a little too big on me. So take these out, throw them away. I have, because I'm at work, I have a bunch of gloves. So these gloves are small, and as you can see, these fit so much better, and it's going to be so much easier for me to respond to the overdose. So that is going to streamline the process for you a lot. During the pandemic, it is not recommended that you give someone mouth-to-mouth. I'm going to tell you how to give someone mouth-to-mouth in the event of an overdose with your Narcan kit, because COVID's not going to last forever, and it is an important skill to learn. So it'll be right here next to the Narcan on the other side of where the gloves were. You open up this little bag, and this part is going to go in their mouth, in between their teeth. Acts as a little airway. So this, if I was the person that was overdosing, oh my goodness, goes like this, and then you blow into here. Sometimes if the person who's overdosed on carfentanil, their muscles kind of seize up and you can't get their teeth open, and like their whole, like you just can't move any of their muscles. If that happens, you just have to administer Narcan until their muscles loosen up, and then you administer air. But if you can't administer air, air is more important than Narcan. Getting oxygen to the brain is so important. So once the airway is in and you're administering air, you want to give one breath every 5 seconds, and you want to make sure that you're tilting their neck up like this, and that's so that the air is going into their lungs and not into their stomach. So now you want to administer the Narcan. Before you administer the Narcan, you want to swab the area. My orange is the muscle that we're going to be injecting it into. So you just want to sanitize the area. This is just to prevent any, foreign antigens entering their body through the needle, because it can give them an abscess, which is not good. We want to be preventing harm, not causing it. Then, pretty simple, you have the Narcan in here, and these are Vanish Point syringes, so you want to just take one of the Vanish Points. You can open it up. When you open it up, it'll have a cap on it. And then you'll have 3 vials of Narcan. You have three vials of Narcan, 3 Vanish Point syringes. And then you want to take its little hat off and then just crack it open. Sometimes they're really hard. There you go. And then something about this is, even if you drop it, it's not going to spill because of, I'm not actually sure. I think it's just like the shape of the vial, but that's handy. So, and then I'm going to have to put this down to do it, but you want to tilt it. Maybe I can do it up here. Yeah. So you want to tilt it a little bit to get all of the liquid in the corner, and you want to draw up the entire dose. There we go. And then, as you can see, it's got a lot of air in it. You want to do that little scientist thing where you flick it, and then just make sure that you get all of the air out. You don't want to give them like an embolism. And then this orange is going to represent any of the big muscles. So usually it's the deltoid, the thigh, or the butt cheek. And then you just stick it in and you inject the entire dose. And then once you've finished injecting it, since it's a Vanish Point syringe, the cap just retracts back into the needle. So that's kind of handy. You won't have a used syringe rolling around on your triage, your care site. While you're waiting for the first responders, you keep doing breaths 1 every 5 seconds, and then you could administer these other 2 vials of Narcan. Just wait about 5 minutes in between doses. So that gives you about 15 minutes, so the paramedics should ideally be there by then. It's pretty stressful, like when you do it the first time, but once you've done it a few times, it gets easier. You just have to do what you have to do. A few super important things to note before you guys go, and this is really important. Narcan only lasts for 30 minutes, so depending on what they've taken, the Narcan can wear off before the drugs do, meaning that they can slip back into an overdose. So if they don't want to go to the hospital with the first responders, which is pretty common, you have to stay with them, ask the first responders for another Narcan kit or more Narcan and needles. Otherwise, when they slip back into an overdose, you will be unprepared. And then just a few other things. If you know that someone's overdosing, don't hit them, slap them, shake them, throw water on them. None of that is going to help. It will not bring them back. So yeah, that's how you respond to an overdose. The first few times actually that I responded to an overdose, I was so panicky, and that really did not help me. So try to stay calm, take some deep breaths, and again, ask for help from people around you. Yeah, thanks for taking the time to watch. I think it's so important to know how to respond to an overdose. They don't really teach you in standard first aid courses, at least when I took it. They told us that the whole protocol was just to call 911. They didn't recommend approaching the person because of the danger that there could be a used syringe, which, as I mentioned at the beginning, that is a real danger, so you should be careful of that. And like clear the area before you kneel down in it. But I think that if you manage the risks, the risk to you is pretty negligible, and you likely will be saving their life, which I think is super cool. I will link some more other more professional resources in this post, because I've never done a blog before, so I might have been talking too fast or been unclear in some parts. But yeah, I just think it's super important. So thank you for taking the time to watch.